care if I preach what I want to preach, what I feel like preaching. I had to hunt the scripture down, but I think I found it. I think I got it. I think I know what the Lord wants. Psalms chapter 40, very familiar verse of scripture. You'll have to pray that the Lord will help me preach beyond about 2 minutes this morning, because we weren't going to preach this one. It says simply this: I waited patiently for the Lord. I waited patiently for the Lord. And He inclined unto me and heard my cry. I don't need the rest of it, but I like some of this, that next verse or two. It says, He brought me up also out of a horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and He set my feet on a rock, and He established my goings. He's put a new song in my mouth. Praise unto our God. Many will see it, and many will fear it, and many shall trust in the Lord. If you'll flip over to the New Testament, one verse of Scripture in Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. I can do all things. Repeat after me. I can do all things. I'm going to preach to you for however long I preach. From simple title, You Can Do All Things. You can do all things. I'm here to tell somebody this morning, I don't care if you sit down or you stand, it doesn't matter to me. But I'm here to tell somebody this morning that you can do absolutely anything. You can get through absolutely anything. You can survive absolutely anything. You can get beyond absolutely anything. It may take you waiting patiently for a moment or two. It may take you waiting with some patience. You may not see when He's coming and understand how He's going to do it, Sister Tracy. But if you wait long enough, God works it out in the end. If you somehow will realize today, I can do anything. The Bible tells me God's not a liar, can't lie. And if you get an excuse in your heart that you say, I just don't know how God's going to do it, well, I'm here to tell you, is God ain't a liar, never has lied. He said, you can do all things. A-double-L, A-L-L, all, everything. Nothing is excluded, nothing left out, nothing to get in the way, nothing to hinder, absolutely everything. Satan comes along and says, you can't do it. You can't live for me. You can't survive it. You can't get beyond it. You can't get on top of this thing. It's going to push you under. You're going to drown. But I tell you, in the midst of a roaring lion's voice, you can do anything. In the midst of a storm, you can do anything. In the midst of a problem, in the midst of trial, in the midst of trouble, in the midst of tribulation, in the midst of sickness. David said, I may have to wait patiently. I'm going to tell you right now, Sister Kathy, he ain't going to do it on your time. Brother Vickers, he don't do it on our time. Brother Mitch, he don't do it on your time. You may want it on your time. You can pray an entire lifetime and never see the answer. But that doesn't mean that He didn't hear the prayer. And that doesn't mean that He can't supply. And that doesn't mean that you still can't live for Him. And you still can't serve Him. And you still can't believe in Him. And after your prayers that made a difference, and all of a sudden somebody's life changes, and your prayer was answered, even after you're gone. But I tell somebody this morning, you have to patiently wait, and you have to believe that all things are possible. You cannot let doubt enter into your presence. You can't listen to those that will tell you that that's impossible. You can't listen to those that will tell you God can't do it. That it's too big, that it's too bad, that you're too wrong, that it's too gone. No, you have to realize that God can help you do absolutely every single thing that you need. You can live for Him. You can do all things. Oh, but you don't know, preacher. You don't see me, but you don't understand how bad it is. I don't care how bad it is. I'm pretty sure your bad ain't near as bad as David's bad was. And he said, I waited patiently. And he picked me up out of the miry clay. And he set my feet up on a rock. The old song says, a rock to stay. And he established my goings and my comings. He decided, this is what I need you to be in this place. And you'll just trust me and believe in me and understand that all things are possible. I will hear your cry. God hears your plea this morning. God does not turn a deaf ear to His children. We stand at our feet today. I told the Lord, I said, what do you want this morning? I'll tell you what I believe He wants. See, my God, we tickle Him. We bring a lot of stuff to Him. We bring a lot of issues to Him. We bring things like, no, we can't pay our light bill. Oh, we got the flu. We got somebody at work that's bugging us. Somebody at school says. Well, I'll tell you what, that's all God had. I'm glad He got all the time in the world. And that He will watch. Because that kind of stuff wear a fella out. But we'll bring that to God all the time. But you want to know what I think God sits up there and waits on? He waits on that person that begins to weep bitterly and cry brokenheartedly. And in the midst of a trial that's so bad and that's so deep and so dark, that has a need that's beyond their control and beyond their comprehension. A need that's beyond the help of anybody on terra firma. The need that can't be solved by anybody but a God that holds all power. And I believe He sits up there waiting on one of His kids to get ready. And he's waiting and says, bring me something that's tougher for me to do. Bring me something that I can surprise you with. Bring me something that you don't think I can do, because I have told you I can do all things. You can do all things. There is nothing too big for my God. We get to doubting. We hear Satan tell us, the world tell us, family tell us, friends tell us, society tell us, oh, it's impossible. Somebody here this morning, ain't nothing impossible. You can doubt it and then begin to believe it, and God will do it. You see, we all doubt. We all find ourselves in places where David found himself. David said he was at a place where his foot had, he'd almost quit. He almost walked away from God, left the church, stopped going to church. Forget about all that. There ain't nothing happening any good for me. I just might as well quit, pack my little hobo bag and go on down the road. He said, but then, he said, I was almost gone. But then I got to look at the land. And I got to observe, as bad as it is, and as problematic as it may be, and as dark as it may be, I began to see how I was a living, and I began to look over there and see how those that didn't have God was a living. And I believe I was glad when they said unto me, let us go and worship the Lord. Why? Because I'd rather spend my time with God's people than spend my time living in the world. I'd rather give God the just praise that He deserves in the worst of my calamity like Job did, than can do absolutely everything. Divorces, sickness, loss of children, loss of spouses, loss of families, debilitating injuries, debilitating sicknesses, sicknesses without cure, mental illness. My God can do anything. You hear me? God can do anything. I can live through absolutely anything if I patiently wait upon the Lord. No money, no house, no car, no food. I can do all things through Christ. I can do all things through Christ. You can do all things through Christ. Somebody in here just this week, you had it into your mind, I just don't know. I don't know if it'll ever happen. I just don't know. Don't you know? That's where God likes to live, right there. That's where God likes to work, right there. That's where God does His best work, right there. At the edge of quitting, at the edge of failure, at the edge of giving up, at the edge of everything turning into nothing. He does His best work when there is no hope. Why? Because He can do absolutely anything. He specializes in the impossible. He specializes in the absolutely unimaginable. He specializes in the thing you can't do on your own. You can think to yourself all you want to, that God hasn't done it, that God will not do it, and God can't do it. No, God. I'm trying to tell you, you can't give up when the going gets tough. He didn't save you. He didn't fill you. He didn't love you. Just abandoned you. He didn't start you on the journey. He didn't quit. He didn't give you His love and His mercy for you not to realize and see Him at His most excellent. There is nothing more excellent than Jesus at His best. Jesus' best always happens when we're at our worst. Feel like somebody needs to step out where they're at and express to Jesus that you still trust Him, that you're still waiting patiently. Because He said, David said, I waited patiently. I was patient. It was after He was patient that He heard David's cry. And a man after God's own heart. I wonder if Jesus, down through the ages of time, before he'd even come down and wrap himself in flesh, leaned down and whispered into David's ear those immortal words, "You can do all things." You can survive adultery. You can survive killing and murder. You can survive doubt. You can survive, David, all of those things, the blood on your hands. You can survive it because you can do all things through God. I wonder if there was something inside of David's heart that reached out through the eons of time, crossed over those 400 years, crossed over those decades of time where the priests were there and the judges was there and the prophets was there. Reached across that 33 and a few months, years. David didn't know it. I wonder if his spirit reached across and grabbed a hold of the bottom of the cross. He said, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." For those who want to come and pray, could I tell you this morning, you can be as weak as a kitten today. You can be at the last breath you got spiritually. You've done all you can do. You've walked as far as you can walk. You've went as far as you can go. You can't put one foot ahead of another. You don't know what the next day is going to bring. Could I tell you, I can do all things. Why? Because my trust in Him is what gives me the strength to move forward another day. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can do all things through the one who gives me strength. Strength to pray, strength to believe, strength to trust, strength to witness, strength to just stand if necessary, to hold my place, to stand in the face of adversity, to stand in the face of doubt, to stand in the face of trouble, to stand saying, "I can do all things. I am going to do whatever it takes. I am going to survive no matter what is in front of me. I am going to serve Him whether I live or I die." For me, maybe to die is gain, but I'm going to trust Him to the last breath, to the last thought, to the last vision, to the last thinking that I might be able to do coherently. I'm going to trust Him. I'm going to believe in Him. I'm going to trust Him. I'm going to trust Him. I'm going to trust Him. I'm going to believe in Him. I'm going to believe in Him. I can do it. 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 But you hear the roar of the lion. No, you don't understand. Over the